Hello, I'm Harold. Today we're going to build a little adapter so that I can take one of the chucks, either one of the chucks I want off of my lathe and put it on the rotary table. And I've got I guess you'd say a drill shank, Morse Taper 3, to mount it on. So that's what today's all about, making an adapter to try to put the chuck, one of the chucks or both the chucks, over there on that rotary table. But before we get there, I got to tell you about the time that Bubba was, when he was a state trooper in Alabama, actually. And so him and his buddies, was in hot pursuit there in a patrol car of a Camaro, is heading east toward Georgia on I-90. When the suspect crossed the Georgia line, the first trooper pulled over immediately, and Bubba, he pulled over right behind him and asked, "Sergeant, why'd you stop?" The sergeant says, "You dumb rookie, Bubba." He says, "He's in Georgia now. They're an hour ahead of us, so we'll never catch him." Well, all right. What can I say? Another second-rate redneck joke. All right, let's get on with making that adapter.
Considering I needed a lot of outlets here, and I was moving wires, I put outlets under this counter here. I put, I guess, about here's another one here. I put about 5 outlets under the counter. There should be another one over there, and they're under there, I guess you could say, in relatively unmarked locations. But I'll put some kind of a little star out here or something to show where they're at, so I can find one. But they're under the counter so they don't get metal chips in them. I think that's a good way to save them from chips. And then, because I had water come running in, I did have 2 outlets right there where you see that piece of metal, and water filled up in that air conditioner and ran down into them and tripped off the air conditioner. And that's when I realized it was a dumb thing to do, to put it there. So I moved things around, moved the outlets over here beside the air conditioner so they can't get water in them anymore. They're up too high to get water, and they're on the other side of that wall stud. So that took me a couple of days because of being lazy and not working all that much each day. But anyway, I got the wires moved and the new stuff installed, and so that leads to a couple of other jobs. I want to be able to use one of the chucks off my lathe on this thing, so I ordered this little guy here. Got kind of a small end on him, but the ones that had a really blank end, boy, the price on those suckers was way up there, and in an unreasonable amount, it looked to me like, considering that they hadn't done any work on this end. But they were many multiples of the cost of that piece there. So I'm going to make a little sleeve that'll screw onto here, and then I can screw my lathe chuck onto and let it come right down and touch the table. This is about 400 thousandths higher, so I'll just thread the thing so I can screw it right on down through there. At least I think I will. We'll see how it comes out. And I've got a piece of material that's bigger than the 1.5" by 8" for the thread, and we're going to use that to fit the thing together. In fact, I'm going to machine it on this little piece here. It's number 3 Morse taper, so I can take my chuck off and shove it in the headstock and use it to machine the metal once I've got a hole in it. So let's get on with the lathe work. Well, the first thing I think I ought to do is to drill a hole here, and it looks like I've already got one in the center, but I'm going to try to clean it up because this is a 3-jaw chuck, and who knows how much it will wobble. I guess it'd help to have electricity. That should work. Obviously, I'm going to have to work on that hole to make it straight where it's wobbling a little bit, so I guess I should face this thing off some. Oops, sorry about that. And I'll be back in a minute when I get things set up for facing it off. I switched over to the 4-jaw chuck so that I could be a little bit more accurate. Get my sky hook steady here. Thread cutting time. I made a few threads off camera because the drill bit was just barely large enough to clean up the threads. Excuse me. But I've been working it on in there. I used the live center to hold it straight until I got it started really good. And now I'm probably about as deep as I need to go, really. I'll pull her back out of there and we'll find out. It's a fair amount of threads right there. Well, it's in there a long way. All right, where's my let's see if this will screw in and stop at a right spot. Hard to hang on to. I think it might be deep enough. I can't tell for sure. Yeah, it's threaded deep enough. That'll do the job. So I'll clean up the burrs here. Probably the first reasonable thing to do would be to get the workpiece out of the chuck. I think that was the wrong chuck key, but nah, I guess not. Well, the threads almost went all the way through, so I know I've got enough. Stick in the back gear and give it a whack here. There we go. Not as much fun for your hand as you'd think, but not that bad either. don't want a bunch of dirt in there. So let's take this little guy here. Fits just right, and almost as if he was made for that. Now I've got to clean out these threads. I'm going to clean all the dirt out of them. I'll be right back. We'll cut it out fairly close, then we'll knock off till tomorrow. Just about 20 thousandths is all that's left here, and my tool not touching it yet, so we'll just take a little test cut. Let's see. Alright, that's 16 thousandths oversized still. So I think we'll be able to make that. Okay, we'll make a slight thread relief at the back end of it here. Okay, that little bugger fits just exactly on there. It's just exactly the perfect fit to slide on. So now we'll set up to do the threading. And we'll come over here and take the gauge on the gearbox. Just move that up so we don't have to look at it. And we want 8 threads, so that means I've got to come right over here with this guy, and this one goes over here to A. You can see right there on it says A, out 8 threads. Alright, so that means I've got to turn the gears a little bit. There we go. That's fit into there good. So we'll get the chuck down from here and make sure I'm threading the right direction, and then we'll get the thread gauge and we'll move on from there. Okay, so I've got it in back gear, and I've got the thread gauge engaged here with the lead screw. We've set the thing for 8 threads per inch. This guy here is on A. The I guess where you call the sliding gear here, he's in the outer position, and this gear, this lever here is right under the 8 in the first position, so everything's good. Okay, and back gear doesn't move very fast, as you can see there, and that ought to be about right for me because I'm old and I don't move very fast either. Alright, first thing we'll do is make a little scratch cut once I get it pretty well located up against there. Alright, that's touching. Set my dial to 0. And set this guy to 0. Not that it's going to help me much, but there. Now then, I'll just feed it in just a little bit, enough to make a scratch. And I'm going to do all these by catching the same number it comes around. That's what I do all the time, whether I have to or not. It keeps me happy. And I just discovered I'm threading in reverse. Alright. Let's try again. I may want to speed it up a little bit more than that. Stop. I laid my thread gauge down, right in front of my face. And that's it. That's exactly it. So, answer the phone. Break time.
It was bad enough the first time that the thing slipped out of the taper. I was able to go back and catch up the thread. And then the second time it slipped out of the taper, I was able to go back and catch up the thread. And then the third time I realized what I needed to do was to put the tailstock up there and hold the thing tight into the taper. But this time I didn't manage to catch up the thread right, and it just went from one disaster to another. And so it's off to the metal supermarket over in Stafford to see if I can't get some more stock to start over again. So obviously this is going to be continued in part 2, because part 1 was a total disaster. Appreciate you guys watching. It'd be nice if you want to subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks. Bye.